Cheers, everyone.
Here's everyone.
Hey, the sun's up and the coffee's hot. Friends from across the globe and around the corner are gathered together again. That's right, It's a
Yes.
good day. It's a good day. Welcome to another record reveal right here in the Flipside Cafe, and welcome to my good friend and longtime friend, Al Etheart.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you for having me.
And for our audience, our viewers, here's what we've got brewing. One song off of one of these 8-track tapes. The viewers are looking at a picture of the front seat of a truck and the floor filled with 8-track tapes. One song off of one of those 8-track tapes was the beginning of the friendship between Al and I. Got to talk a little bit about that. And then how about these for some lyrics? Can't you see, can't you see what that woman has been doing to me? It's a great line from a great album. Who's the artist? What's the album? We're going to talk about that and some other Southern rock genre albums. And we're going to go back 50 years to
Wow.
1976. I went through and I pulled 3 albums from my
Okay.
vinyl collection that were released in 76. I'll reveal those 3. And we're closing out with a brand new segment. I am so excited about this segment. It's called the Loneliest Highway LP, a brand new segment. Plenty to get to today. We got some memories to spark, some dots to connect. Take a sip of whatever's
That's
in your
good.
mug. I've got coffee. I don't know what everyone else has. Just take a sip and let's go ahead and get started.
Let's roll.
So, Al and I were strangers. Now, people that know both of us will tell you I'm stranger than Al. But we were both strangers. It was the summer of 74.
Yeah.
Al, we were in Ashland, Ohio. There's Cleveland, and then there's Cincinnati or Columbus, and right in the
Columbus.
middle is Ashland, somewhere there, Ashland College. And they had this thing called summer orientation for freshmen. And
Right.
there was this invitation to go off campus to go to the president's house, a president's reception for incoming freshmen.
Right.
And I had the means to get there via my red pickup truck.
Oh,
Al,
yeah.
Al did not. And we didn't know each other. He said, "Hey, are you going to the reception and can I get a lift?" And I said, "Yes and yes." And so we proceeded to my truck. It was easy to find. It was the only one in the parking lot. And Al opened up the passenger door and he saw, there's that image again. It wasn't that bad, but it was close to it.
It's close
All
to
of
it.
these 8-track tapes. I don't remember all of the tapes,
Wow.
but I do know that this one was in there. This was Cosmos Factory. It was Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh,
And on the backside, it has Up Around the Bend, My Baby Left Me, Who'll Stop the Rain. I heard it through the grapevine. That one was in there. That I know.
oh, I had that album.
This one was definitely there. This was by Tommy James and the Shondells.
Yeah. Didn't have that one. Oh, cool.
It's got Crimson and Clover, Crystal Blue
Okay.
Persuasion, Mony
Yeah.
Mony, Hanky Panky.
Yeah.
Anyway, that one was there. But the star cartridge was
There you go.
this would go. Jethro Tull Aqualung was one of the 8-track cartridges. Al, I've kind of set the scene. What happened once you saw this 8-track?
Well, I picked it up and I said, put this one song on called Locomotive Birth. Because as I said, I gave you the story of a friend back in high school who had this cool car. It was a Cougar XR7. And he had I think he had a 450 Hemi, but he added a blower on top of that. And supposedly he could outrun supposedly, I never saw it, but supposedly could outrun every county Nassau County cop car.
So what was the song that you wanted me to play?
Locomotive Breath.
Locomotive Breath. Right. So there's
The way it starts, and then and then it picks up, and if you're on the highway, I know I've been on the car with him, and he just taps it, and that thing just takes off, and you sort of pin to the chair.
so here it is. It's two people we had just met. Al from the outskirts of New York City, me from farm country. Al had come from cruising around in the metropolitan area to Locomotive Breath, and we are now driving through this rather large, but still it's a farming community in Ohio in search of the president's house. Ended up going to the reception. That was back in '74. That really was our connection, was that song, Locomotive Breath. And it's a friendship now that's lasted, 52 years. Hey, you viewers, if you've got a great story to talk about how you had a friendship or a relationship that began over what would appear to be a random conversation about a group, a song, or something, please let us know in the comments. We're gonna move on to our second segment, which has to do with Southern rock. Now, Al and I were on campus in Ashland from 74 to 78. And for those of you who grew up in the 70s, you just know it. The 70s was wild.
Yeah, it was.
It was different than the 60s, which is very iconic with Woodstock.
Oh, yeah.
The 70s was just like a whole decade of people trying to find our way. I mean, the Vietnam War had ended, but the fallout had not.
Yeah, no.
We had this thing called Watergate.
Yeah.
A president who had never been directly elected by the people, who had 2 assassination attempts on him, including one by a member from the Charlie Manson gang. We had gas shortages. We had double-digit interest rates and double-digit inflation at the same time. It was just, we were just kind of trying to find our way. And as I look back on it, the music industry was kind of doing the same thing. In the beginning, early 70s, it was the singer-songwriter craze. Gordon Lightfoot, Carole King, Tapestry, that's probably the most well-known. Then there was this concept album craze, albums coming out from Pink Floyd and David Bowie. Later was disco, but it's a good morning. We won't talk about disco, but I want to talk about a surprising genre in a way, and that's Southern rock. Al, you had shared with me that's some of your favorite albums are Southern rock, and I'm curious, who were those albums, and did you like it before you came to college or got exposed to it when you were at Ashland?
I got exposed to it at Ashland. And the Marshall Tucker Band was one. The Allman Brothers, I've heard about them before. And I think the Sweet Melissa was one of the songs that from the Peach album, or Eat a Peach album.
Eat a Peach.
Eat a Peach. And she's from Georgia. And then the Charlie Daniels is another one, and of course Pure Prairie League, and that's the hit song was Aimee. I think Pure Prairie was out of Cincinnati, and then you had the Outlaws, the Eagles, and all those other Southern rock bands, and of course Leonard Skinner was the other big one. But yeah, I got exposed to most of that Southern rock at Ashland, and through our record co-op that we had on campus. That's what's right. Basically, I know you were there a lot buying albums.
Well, I was there buying albums. We're going to talk about the record co-op was an opportunity for students to purchase new albums at a low cost. I think it was 10% markup or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Something ridiculous. the Southern rock genre kind of attracted you? What was there about that music, that style of music that you liked?
I think it's the guitar that the guitarist they used to have with them. And I back in New York, I was a big Beach Boys fan. I still listen to
Oh,
the Beach Boys and all the little guitar intro that they used to have. And not that it's similar to Southern rock, but the rhythm of the music, the lyrics that they've had, and for some reason I fell in love with it, and I still listen to it till to now, and even more country music too. So, and that's I just like the music.
Al, you had mentioned the Marshall Tucker Band. I'm just curious, was there any particular album or some songs that you particularly liked back in the day?
Yeah, yeah, I did. It was the album was "Searching for a Rainbow," and the song was "Bobbing My Blues Away" was a song that I really liked. But then the rest of as I listened to the rest of the album, I just fell in love with the album, and then the next one, and the next one.
Right in the beginning of the episode, I teased with this line, can't you see what that woman she's doing
Do
to
to
me?
me.
Oh, I got to tell you, because of some relationships that I've had, I have been known to play that song at the volume all the way up. As
Yeah.
is, that whole southern, that whole every actor you talked about, I've got their albums. And they
Okay.
didn't really realize it. And these were mainstays on the turntable. Charlie Daniels had The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I kind of liked, but it was his cover of the Orange Blossom Special.
Special. Yes. Yes.
That was the one that got played, I don't know how many thousand times. The
Oh, lots of
and the Outlaws had Green Grass on High Tides. They had Ghost Riders in the
good
Sky.
skies. Yes.
Uh,
Actually, I just heard that just recently on the Sirius station that I listen to. Uh, Red Blues, Red something like Red Blues and Booze on
oh,
Sirius Radio.
I mean, how can you not imagine having a brew and listening to that genre?
Another one that just popped into my head just now as we were talking is the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
I often overlooked from the 70s is this whole genre of just some great classic albums. And Al, I appreciate you bringing those titles up and reconnecting us to some of those most memorable sounds from the 1970s. Now, the 70s, we talked about this wildly eclectic group of music. It's 2026. I think everybody knows that by now, right? It's 2026. 50 years ago, and if my high school math paid off, I'm not sure that it did. That takes it back to 1976. So this,
Yes.
so this year we're celebrating the anniversary of albums that were released in 1976. And I went through my vinyl collection, which I've whittled down now down to only three milk crates full of vinyl. And I came up with
Wow.
three I'd just like to share, Al, with you and our
Okay.
viewers and see if it sparks some memories. Here we go. Album number one and released in 76, Boston.
Boston.
Yeah, Boston.
Boston. I wasn't a big fan of Boston, but I know it was a big popular. Excuse me.
Hey, no problem.
So somebody trying to sell me something. So anyway, so no, I wasn't a big fan of Boston. To get back to our conversation, but I know it was a popular album because I know at the co-op they sold a lot of it.
Yeah,
And I can't remember the hit title song. It's not coming to me right now unless I look it up.
it's More Than a Feeling because I know that
More
one.
than a yes, there you go.
More Than a Feeling. Yeah. Of course, I have the album in front of me, so I can cheat. It also has a song that during different times in my life I've related to. It's called Peace of Mind. Um, and it's got foreplay, long time, hitch a ride, let me take you home tonight, a
Okay, but
classic
yeah,
classic pop album from 1976, and Turned Upside Down. it's a guitar upside down, which I didn't know.
Oh, okay. I never knew that you could turn it upside down and look at guitars.
That was one of the three. By the way, Boston, are they in or out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? What do you think?
I think they're in.
They're not.
They're not. Wow.
They're not. But this dude is just relatively recently. And Al, it is.
Oh, Peter Frampton.
Peter Frampton and the album, double live album, Comes Alive. How about this one? Was this an album that you enjoyed back in the day, or something that you didn't quite?
Some of the songs were good, and I like "Show Me the Way." Do you feel like we do? That's another. Those two I liked, and plus I liked the way he used that Talkbox guitar.
Yeah, this album I know got played a lot, and also the album front and
Oh, a giant poster.
actually served as a poster that would accompany who was the other poster that hung in dorm rooms across the campus at Ashland?
Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett. Farrah Fawcett. Absolutely.
That's for sure. That was most sold that poster probably. And a little trivia before that, the other one, there's another poster that was just as big. It was Raquel Walsh when she was in 1 billion years BC.
That's right. That's right. Hey, you got Al Etheart and Phil Yale. We're in the Flipside Cafe. We are revealing records from our college years, 74 to 78. We're in the year 1976 because we're celebrating 50 years of friendship, 50 years of great albums. We've already had Boston. We had Peter Frampton, Frampton Comes Alive. And then this one here, this individual is also in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Steve Miller Band.
Fly like an eagle. It's got the title track, Fly Like an Eagle. Hey, I've seen an eagle. I see an eagle. Eagle.
Eagle.
Fly like an eagle, Steve Miller.
Ashland
Eagles. Fly like an eagle, rockin' me, and take the money and run. Now, take the money and run.
Yeah, take the money. That was good.
I had to make a note of it here so I get it right. That's one of the great lines in music. You ready? 2 lines. Billy Mack is a detective down in Texas. You know he knows just exactly what the facts is. I just always thought that was a great line.
Never. Sometimes you never pay attention to the lyrics.
I'm a lyrics kind of dude.
But that's a pretty good one. Billy Mack is a detective down in Texas.
Steve Miller, Peter Frampton, Boston, just 3 of the
3 good ones.
Yeah, that came out
from that era for sure.
1976. You know, this Mystery Reveal is just one of the programs on this network. If you kind of like Casey Kasem's American Top 40, you're going to enjoy the music challenge and commentary with Trip Rogers and I. It's in the series called Tripping Up on this channel. Subscribe to the channel. You'll be able to check out some of those great episodes. Now, let's get into our closing segment, Al.
Okay.
Viewers, you may have listened to a BBC program, I know I have, called Desert Island Discs. The concept is that they bring on these famous celebrities and they ask the celebrities to name books or records that they would take with them if they were going to be on a desert island, a deserted island, going to be alone. And it got me to thinking, other than desert islands, are there other forms of isolation? And for some reason, I came up with road trip.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one.
Okay. In 1986, Life magazine branded parts of U.S. Highway 50 as the loneliest highway in America. Now, US 50 starts in Ocean City, Maryland, and it ends up I think just outside of Sacramento, California.
Okay.
It goes across 12 states. I think it's over 3,000 miles.
Wow.
But there's a part of it in Nevada, right around 400-mile stretch of the highway, that in '86, Life called that, dubbed that, named that, branded that as the loneliest highway in America. So here we go. I'm going to paint the picture here for you.
Go ahead.
All and viewers, take yourself back in a time machine to the 1970s. It's very late at night, and you're in Nevada, where there's more abandoned mines than there are gas stations. You haven't seen a car or any other vehicle for over an hour. You scan the AM dial with the static. The only thing you can find are like Dear Abby knockoffs, with the personal advice, or what Ryan Humbert from the Shootouts called Radio Jesus. Okay. You don't want any part of either one of those, so you turn off the radio because fortunately you had bolted to the underside of your dashboard an 8-track player, and sitting next to you is a carrying case filled with 8-track tapes. Okay. Al and the viewers, tell me, what is the one 8-track cartridge that will be your traveling companion on the loneliest highway in America?
Wow. I think to stay awake at nighttime, I would grab Jethro Tull's Aqualung and flip it in there. That's what I would do.
Yeah, that's a good. Well, that's obviously a good one because Locomotive Breath. You could just put that in and
just hit replay,
play it over and over and over again. And I'm glad you set that up the way you did, because for viewers, you may have different things in mind. So, well, let's talk about even staying awake. Someone might think, and I'm doing this off the top of my head. Someone might think, "Oh, I need to sing along." So, they might pick a song or an 8-track tape that's got songs that they would sing along to. That might be one. Someone might be going through some troubled times and they need to clear their head. So they might just want something that kind of plays in the background. And who knows, someone might not want to listen to anything at all.
That's true, yeah. See, for me, driving at night, I would definitely need music, because if I don't have anything going, when I drive, I do a lot of driving, so I got to have music. I can't listen to talk radio. I mean, I like classical music, but not while driving, because that'll put me to sleep. I need something to constantly keep you moving.
There obviously was no XM Sirius radio, no satellite radio.
Right.
Our options were pretty limited. And Al, I think you really picked a good one there. Viewers, let us know in the comments, what is the 8-track cartridge that you would take along as your traveling companion? Al, I really appreciate you coming on and joining us for this episode. Hey, and before I forget, Al, thanks an awful lot. You were the only person that, for a long period of time, listened to my very first episode I ever did. It was on Willie and the Poor Boys by Creedence Clearwater Revival. That was all the way back in 2021.
Yeah.
You listened, and you even sent me an email encouraging me to continue, which I've now done 5 years later. I wanted to make sure that I said thank you for that. And for you viewers, if you like the content that we're putting out on this channel, please consider subscribing, sharing it with others, push that thumbs up and comments. Make a huge difference in the algorithms for a creator like me. Your support is much appreciated. And let's keep the coffee brewing, the memories and the records spinning, and the conversations flowing. And you can start by watching one of these 2 videos right now.